I think I've got it this time. I have to smile at the camera and not just begin talking when I'm ready to start giving you the update on which week we're in. So, no funny faces, we'll see. Week 3, we are a third of the way through the course, and this is going to be probably the driest of the topics that we're studying, but it is really critical to understanding marketing and communications, market planning, strategic planning, and how that differs based on different nonprofit organizations. You've each heard me talk a little bit, probably at this point in the course, extensively about marketing audit, marketing audit, the marketing audit. And I've given feedback to many of you, especially individually, when I've been talking with you about your project, your nonprofit or the project. It's really critical that you have a wide variety of people to interview. And I think you might have gotten a sense for that once you cut through some of the material that we were reading, watching, listening to, and that sort of thing. Those key internal and external stakeholders to an organization. What a strategic plan does, how it pertains to marketing. Marketing is really rooted at the core. The strategic plan is giving the organization direction. It's giving, performance evaluation. I thought the last video on the reading list was probably one of the better kind of quick synopsis in terms of what it's like in the real world, not just the theoretical of market research and market information systems. But if you're not communicating that strategic plan, and people in the community don't understand how it ties to your mission, it's a lost point. So let's take a minute and just talk briefly about market research. This week's discussion board, rather than just me putting up a curated question or asking you to cite back information, I put up a case study, and I did that intentionally. I really feel strongly that there needs to be a blend of both the theoretical knowledge that you get out of this course, as well as how does it work in the real world. When I finished my master's, most of them were taught by tenured faculty who had spent their careers working in academia, rooted in theory, wonderful teachers in that regard. And you'll see that I've offered you those theories as part of the readings and the exploration early in the week. But I really think it's important to take that theory and bring it in and figure out, okay, well, this is how it really works. So I think probably understanding that we're going to turn a corner after this third week. You've had the introductory session of two nonprofits and the role of nonprofits. We've talked about mission, vision, branding. Now we're talking about market research and information systems, strategic planning, SWOT analyses, how these build up. And then next week, we move into social media. So I imagine there's many of you saying, so social media is part of the title of this course. I still would argue that there's validity to what we're studying this week, week 3, for market research. In fact, probably even more so as it pertains to social media. There's a complete myriad of platforms out there and available, and you know what I'm talking about if you're a user in any capacity of social media. Of course, you've got the Goliath, right? You've got Facebook. We get that. But there's other platforms too that may fit if you understand who you're trying to reach and what message you're trying to put out there. Hence, you got to know how to get that information, and that's where your market research comes in. So I do feel that it's an important component of making sure that you understand how to arrive at that information and how marketing and theory in marketing research blend up and through strategic planning and SWOT analyses. That's usually how you're going to see market research manifest in nonprofits, particularly if you're working with a smaller to medium-sized nonprofit organization. Of course, the larger nonprofits, the American Cancer Society, the Red Crosses, the Susan Komen Foundations, they have enough staff to assign people to do market research. And they're analyzing everything from engagement with content, particularly on social media, to how it's converting to either volunteerism or gifts coming in from prospective donors or repeat donors. But the majority of nonprofits do not have staff members that have the capacity or the bandwidth to do that, nor do they always have the budget to hire a firm to do it. It can be very, very expensive to have somebody come in and conduct these types of analyses for your nonprofit organization. Hence, you find that most times these nonprofits in that category of what I call grassroots to early stages, before they get very sophisticated with staffing and fund security and development and board direction and vision, they're often using more rudimentary tools. It's not unusual. I worked on a project for United Way of Whitley County, tiny little nonprofit. It's a United Way, so hey, it's got that, national brand, right? But they still only have 1.5 FTE, one full-time executive director and one half-time assistant. Okay. So, and the purpose of that project was I was asked to conduct a community survey and run a series of focus groups to have a sense for, do the community members at whole feel that this organization is relevant any longer? Are they funding causes that matter to people? Do people even know, what they're funding? So there's an example of a very small system of doing some market research when you have a very, very limited budget. And I think that's what you'll probably find as you venture out into the sector or you volunteer. If you're going to, the MBA students that are thinking, okay, I really want to be working in the corporate sector, you may be volunteering, you may be serving as a board member, and you may find yourselves thinking through this process with staff, particularly if you have limited staff and limited resources. Let's see. So working through the readings for the week. And then there's the discussion board, the typical due date of Wednesday by 11:59 p.m. It is a case study. And I really want to emphasize that I am not concerned about the details that you may come up with as solutions. For instance, I would exercise this particular strategy to solve the problem of deficit. What I am looking for is your application based on what you've read and studied this week and how you would bring those types of resources together to have a more cohesive approach to creating a strategic plan. And I am also looking for you to explain how you believe marketing plays that role in that specific situation and scenario. What role does marketing play for that organization? Any questions? You know where to find me. Otherwise, have a great week. We'll get through this drier than most topics, and then next week you get to really look forward to moving into social media, direct media offers, promotional offers, special events, volunteers, and those tend to be the areas that nonprofit professionals looking to land in the marketing types of roles are thinking about when they're thinking about a marketing or a public relations job or even a development job from some perspectives. Oh, I want to write press releases. I want to plan special events. I hear that all the time when I've hired development and marketing professionals underneath me in various roles in the past. I think I'd be a great event planner. I think those tend to be the areas of marketing that majority of people looking to go into that component or that area of the field are attracted to. And, if you think of anything else, just reach out, and I hope you have a great week.